Dear viewer, good evening and welcome to Current Issue. With me tonight, the great people from a great organization from the World Medical Relief. We have George Samson. He's the president and CEO of the World Medical Relief, and we have Michael Baydun. And Michael Baydun, he's the chairman of the board, and honestly, you guys doing a great job serving not just the community in the United States, but all over the world. George, I'll start with you. How the World Medical Relief start, and when it start, and why?
In 1953, there was this woman by the name of Irene Oberlin. She was just watching the TV newscast with her husband Lester, and they saw the misery or the victims of the war in Korea. And Irene Oberlin was touched by the misery, and there was one particular orphan that she wanted to help, who was fathered by American GI, who was left behind in that orphanage.
Yeah.
Irene Oberlin included over-the-counter medicine, diapers, blue pads, and anything she thought they could use for that orphanage. For that particular orphan, that's what this organization founded. And one way for her to send this donation out to Korea, she go to self-reserves, and she will ask the American soldiers to put the stuff she had collected in their backpacks. She will be right there at the gate in her small pickup truck. She will ask most of the soldiers to put all the stuff in each individual, okay, to put the stuff in their backpacks. Michael, can you please put this in your backpack and drive it up in Pyongyang? John, can you please help me with this? And Peter, can you help me with this? That's an incredible work for this woman.
That's how it started, huh?
That's how it started.
Okay.
And volunteers, they were impressed by this work of this woman. And volunteers started offering their help to help Irene Oberlin.
Wow. And tell me, I mean, after that, what happened? How you established how you bought the building, how where you get the refurbished medical equipment, the supply, how you get them, how you send them.
Yes. During the time, Irene Oberlin realized that her help is also needed in the local community, because she was only talking about Korea.
Yes.
Because of the conflict, the civil war, when broke down. Then she realized that there's so many seniors that could not have been afford to buy their medicine as well in the local community. She was able to acquire a pharmacy license, first ever in the country, to dispense medicine for charity for local in 1966, in which until now we still have that pharmacy license helping out people who cannot afford to buy their medicine, whether they are underinsured or or medicine not covered by their insurance and so forth.
I see. Mike, you've been volunteering for many years. Started with the Kiwanis Club, and then you got introduced to the World Medical Relief. You've been chairman for so many years. And tell me, what's the role that the World Medical Relief play in helping the needies all over the world?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having us here,
Sure.
and thank you for serving on the board. I don't know if I don't know if you announced that.
My pleasure, absolutely.
And we definitely need your help, and I'm glad that you're on board, and we're going to put you to work. So thank you for
I'm ready.
coming on board. I got involved, I guess, 25 years ago,
25 years ago.
when Dr. Samson came here as a volunteer. He was working on dock, and we became good friends. I got involved. I'm of Middle Eastern descent, Lebanese descent.
Yes.
Grew up in Dearborn, and I got involved via, I guess, through Liberia, and I was appointed at a very young age to serve as Consul General, Honorary Consul General in Liberia. And it just so happened they were in the middle of a really bad civil war.
Civil War, yes.
And, you know, they lost 10% of their population. And pretty much the one area that affected the most was healthcare and education. So I had no knowledge, or I guess no prior experience in the healthcare sector. So I started doing some research, asking people, who's around here? Oh, there's a group in your backyard, and it just so happened to be maybe 10 minutes away, and literally, and I've never heard of them. And that's probably the biggest problem we're facing right now. We want to get more publicity. So this is probably about 25 years ago. So I went there, and who do I meet? This fine gentleman here, and I had some pictures, and he said, "Wow, this is really what's going on." I said, "Yeah, nobody really wants to help us out," and so ever since then, I pretty much I'm stuck with Dr. Samson here to serve.
And you're doing a great job.
I don't know about
I'm
that,
on the
but
board,
we're trying.
I know. Yeah.
We're trying hard.
Yes.
You know, like I said, it was all by accident, and the work they did for us, the help they gave us, literally, I could say they saved, I would say, tens of thousands of lives. Basically, we were cut off, and so basically that's how we started, starting getting involved.
So after that, tell me about the shipment. First, tell me how you get your refurbished medical. I mean, do you buy it? Do you get it donation? And how? And I see the warehouse for world medical relief. There is always $5 to $6 million worth of medical equipment there, and you keep every day sending shipment after shipment all over the world.
That's right.
So how you get your supplies?
Let me go back a little bit with the other question you had asked me, Mr. Jadan. When the founder started in the international, supporting the missionaries, then she established the local programs. Then after that, when she started the local programs, there just so many donors came they came to rescue Iron Oberlin in terms of this medical mission. And until our hospitals in the state of Michigan participated in these international programs.
Okay.
And they got interested also that the hospitals, since they, when they are upgrading to higher technology or they buy new equipment, they will ask World Medical first, or they will send all this to World Medical first before they dispose this equipment. As we know that here in the United States, most of the equipment, they replace it in 3 or 5 years.
Absolutely,
which are still in good shape, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yes.
And that is the beginning of the involvement of the donor hospitals in the States, namely like the Henryford, Beaumont, St. John's, Harper, Children's Hospital, DMC,
from all over,
Michigan, you name it, all over. Now we still get.
Is that including the supplies too?
That's including the supplies.
Okay.
That this supplies and equipment will end up in the landfill. So the beauty of what we are doing is that from 20 volunteers way back in 1950s, they moved to Detroit building in 1960s, 65, 66. Then for so many years we were there.
Yeah.
Then we outgrown the building in terms of the, instead of sending containers overseas, because we only had 2 bay docks. Until the board of directors, headed by the leadership of Chairman Baydun and all the rest of the board members, I recommended to them, if we would like to ship part and expand, we need to find a building with more international bay docks.
Yes.
Because the concept is that the more containers we ship out, the more bay docks, the more lives we'll save.
Yes.
Now we are located in Southfield, and we're getting more and more and more donations in terms of in-kind from all the hospitals we have in the state of Michigan.
If an urgent care or a doctor, they want to upgrade their equipment and all that, can they send you those equipment?
Yes, there is first there is a criteria. We cannot just accept equipment which are not in good working condition.
Okay.
We just want to make sure that they have the availability of the parts. We just want to make sure that the attachments or the accessories are complete. Because when you send this overseas, and if it is not working, it will backfire to us.
Absolutely.
And they will be, our credibility will be in question.
So all your equipment are in good working condition before you send it.
Correct.
Yes.
When we learn, of course, all of us, we always learn from our mistakes or being criticized. What we've been doing before, we just send equipment, we know it's good and there's no problem with it. And there were times that, hey, we're missing electrodes, for instance, on the EKG machine, or we need to have access to these supplies. They don't, which those are the experience we have. So now it's different because we have a partnership with Lawrence Tech University. We invited medical or biomedical engineering students to come to World Medical Relief because we established a biomed engineering department now.
Wow.
That meaning to say that before we send the equipment overseas, it has to pass through biomedical engineering department.
And certified by them.
And certified and inspected and checked by our senior biomed.
I see. Michael, you ship equipment all over the world. Can you give me like the countries that we've been shipping those containers?
Yes. You know, when I first started there years ago, there was very few going to Africa.
Yes.
And I was very, I pretty much wanted to see more sent to Africa because of my experience there and seeing the needs.
They needed more than anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And particularly in certain areas where they had civil unrest and other things. Eventually, we pretty much, right now, the majority is going to Africa and Middle Eastern countries.
Yes.
And a lot of areas where they have civil unrest. And we do send a pretty good portion to the Middle Eastern regions, correct, Doctor, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
And it wasn't like that before.
Those countries like Egypt, Jordan, Yemen, the country that need us more than any.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They,
Iraq,
all over
you know.
Iraq,
Yeah.
Lebanon,
Lebanon, yeah.
Syria. I mean, it's there's a need there.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of participation by the Middle Eastern program, Middle Eastern population that's here. And we do have some good people, some great volunteers. And this organization, the reason why it's so successful, Wally, is because of volunteers.
Yes.
And we all put our dues in. The students, I think Wayne State medical students, a lot of them from Middle Eastern descent, a lot of the high schools. But I would like to see more.
How many you have, for example, last year? How many volunteers you had?
Doctor, you probably know the hours better than me.
In 2018, let me go back a little bit, 4 or 5 years back, since we moved to Southfield. We recorded in 2005 like almost 1,800. Now in the 2006 it went up to at least 2,000, and 2017 2,500, 2018 we recorded almost 3,000.
Wow, 3,000 volunteers
3,000.
comes and help.
Yes.
And those are mostly from colleges,
Correct.
schools, hospitals, and all that.
Yes, I can name some of the new few universities. Like the biggest is the University of Michigan.
I see.
These are
Yeah.
the medical students, biomed, medtechs, engineering as well. And we have the Wayne State University, and they work in the pharmacy department. We have the Lawrence Tech and the other biomedical students.
Are you reaching, for example, a student from the high school? That they have to know about the medical, or you could have any volunteer?
It is not really necessary to have a medical background.
Exactly.
Because if you are in high school, as long as you are able, you can read. Because we set up those aisles, we organize the process. There is what they call the micro sorting and macro sorting. It's also being done by a volunteer, Norm Kern, that we created that to make it easier for especially high school. As long as they know to read, they could help in sorting and organize those medical supplies.
Great. For the container, those people, you send it from non-profit organization, which we are non-profit organization, to a non-profit or NGO or government entity. So they could donate it to the people, right?
Yes.
So did they have to pay for the container that we send them? And how much in a container usually? 40 feet container.
Yeah, the assessment we had done before, in order to sustain any program, you need to have some funding.
Yes.
For longevity. Until the board of directors decided after the audit that in order to sustain this, we need to charge handling fee. So we charge for a flat fee of $10,000 for a 40-foot container.
Yes.
But that is only that's only a small fraction of what they're getting, because the value of each container we're sending out is between $450,000 to $500,000 or more.
So $500,000 of refurbished medical equipment, medical supply, and all what they have to pay is for the handling and packaging and shipping. And shipping probably another $4,000 or $5,000.
That's right.
So here is what we do. We sending. That's very important.
Yeah.
And if it goes for the Middle Eastern country or all that, you're sending about $500,000 worth of medical supply, medical equipment, which could be worth $1 million there.
Correct.
For only shipping and handling.
Correct.
That's great.
That's right.
Yes. Mike, you mentioned the Middle Eastern community, and you mentioned in the past year or so, we sent a lot of those 40-foot container worth about $500,000 to many Middle Eastern countries like Yemen, like Jordan, like Syria, Lebanon, and all that. Is the Middle Eastern community in U.S., and especially in Michigan, because the organization based in Michigan, are they responding to that? They should come and help you. They should volunteer, because you're helping their people there.
It's a good point, interesting comment. I guess I agree with you 100%. We don't get the support. We do get some support. Like I said, you stepped up, and a couple other have stepped up. The problem, our community, they tend to stay with their own organizations, certain country or certain village,
Yes.
They pretty much, one thing I would like to see, if I could, really make a comment about, is our community needs to get more involved,
Yes.
Not just the World Medical.
And believe in volunteer.
Yeah, volunteer.
It's something that passion should be in everybody.
And the good thing is a lot of the younger kids in the high school are starting to learn
They
that.
They are. Yes.
What's the great? But
Yes.
people my age, they pretty much. I would like to see them more. I would like to ask them to come out and help.
Yes.
Either volunteering, sending donations.
The retired people,
And you mentioned,
Yeah.
there's an interesting point. You mentioned about the building.
Yes.
I was chairman at the time. This is an interesting point. And things were getting pretty bad, and we pretty much stagnated at the building in Detroit. It was a 9-story
Yes.
building. Great building, historical building. A lot of problems. The security issue, you've been there before,
Sure,
years
of course,
ago.
many
And
times.
a beautiful building.
Yeah.
And the president, Dr. Samson, approached me and said, "Mike, we have to move." I said, "Unfortunately, we don't have the money, you know." And I remember there was a mission he did overseas, and I went with him. We did some work overseas, and I made a comment. I said, Dr. Samson, you better start praying more. Maybe we'll get a miracle happen. And this was around Christmas. This is a really crazy story. And I come home, and at the time, Miss Ratcliffe was one of our directors, calls me frankly, "Hey, Mike, you need to get down here." And this was right before Christmas, a day or two before Christmas. I thought something bad happened. It's like, oh no, what's going on? The elevator broke or some crazy thing happened. So I rush over there, and she pulls out a check, 1.5 million, 5 million, I think.
Right.
Wow,
Just like that. It was
That's-
it was a miracle. So that's how we ended up moving to
Yes.
Southfield, and
Southfield.
then that's why we have a very modern, state-of-the-art, 65,000 square foot that can accommodate volunteers. And it's challenging. It's been challenging. To just keep the organization, serving all these containers. But definitely, if I could get the word out and ask our great community, to get out and help us out. Either send monetary, or come a
kids
volunteer
or
or
yeah.
whatever. Any way you
Yes.
can help. And it's a great. I experienced it. I was on the front lines. I was there in the middle of the civil unrest, so I seen the impact of these supplies.
Yes.
Really, they don't really have a value after so many years, but they're definitely they're saving lives. So
I mean, with the Filipino, and we send some shipment to Philippines, and anytime I go to the World Medical, to the building, I see a lot of Filipino volunteers.
Good point.
Because you guys help, we are helping their country.
good point.
That's right.
And we should do the same thing with the Middle
Absolutely.
Eastern community.
I agree with you.
If we help in their country, I should step in and help this organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What, George, do you have in mind, for example, to ask, I mean, many non-profit organization and people, organization like you guys, like us, they ask for donation. They ask for help because that donation is need to continue. Do you ever do that, to
Yeah.
reach people or do something for donation?
Yes, under the development officer, I know we're trying hard to ask for support and help, Ms. Jabara, and we're sharing with people outside the World Medical Leave that we also need help us to help others. As a matter of fact, we our friend and your friend, Nidal Garmo is the vice chair, that they sponsored shipments to Kurdistan. I remember
Yes.
to Bishop Ibrahim, who is your friend. I believe in
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
They sponsor containers there, and also the One World Mission, and also if I know Father Paddy,
Of course.
Father Daddy. They
Yes.
even went to Jordan,
Mhm.
and also the other group that they come and conduct medical mission. But we need more people who will be working with us hand to hand, like sorting medical supplies, packaging medicine, or sorting surgical instruments.
Yes.
We need help like that. And of course, the financial assistance is always needed. And
Yes.
we're just expecting groups from the country that we had helped so that we could help them more.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for.
In MEA TV, we are willing to put a commercial together to ask to help for donation and to ask especially the young people in the community to volunteer to help, because at the end this volunteer is going to benefit their homeland and the
That's
people
right.
that they care about them where they came from.
That's right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we have scheduled containers going to Yemen.
Yemen, yes.
The Yemen, I know one of the worst countries that are suffering now
Yeah.
is Yemen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And due to some regulatory concern, they held up the containers for few months, and now they're back to normal.
They went to Yemen now.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, and then also we have containers ready to go to Jordan,
Yes.
and Kurdistan, of course. With
I
the
believe there is another that
UMR.
people are very interested in Kurdistan because there is
Yes.
over 400,000 refugees that came from the south to Kurdistan,
That's
and there
right.
is the Syrian people came
The
to
Syrian.
Kurdistan. So the total population is about 4 million, and when you add 1 million refugees from
That's a
total,
lot.
that's a huge,
That's right.
and they
That's
need your
right.
help. And if they need your help, honestly, especially if we're talking about Iraq, the young people in the Iraqi community, if it's Chaldean or other, they should come and at least donate and help your volunteer.
That's right.
Are you reaching to some doctors in the Middle Eastern community? Let me talk to Mike. Are you reaching to some doctors in the Middle Eastern community, like Kaaba, the medical association, so they could come and help and donate some equipment?
Yeah, in the past, we've reached out to some of the communities, doctors that have sponsored containers. They would come, but you know, it's kind of and they'll stop. If I'm not Dr. Samson,
Yes.
they'll help for a few months, and we won't see him again. I like to see more continuous, help. Yeah, that's one area we need more doctors.
Yes.
We definitely need more support when it comes to that. Doctors tend to, I guess, the time factor. They don't have time.
Exactly,
But you mentioned the Filipino community. And you'll see, all types of professionals.
Many volunteers.
I mean, from doctors to nurses.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's one thing Dr. Samson has been successful is, get them involved in the process, and they do a great job. I would like to see more from Lebanon, Iraq, Syria. We do have a lot of young, doctors.
Are you reaching some organization in the community?
We've have our connections with them,
yes.
but it's not as good as it should be. If I could stress that, it should be better.
Should be better.
It should be better.
Because we do a lot for the Middle East, and
Yes.
and the great thing about the organization, in my experience, in Africa and Liberia, they don't discriminate. They don't care what religion, what color.
That's
And
the
that's the
World
beauty
Medical
about it.
Relief. Look at the shipment going to Muslim countries, Christian countries.
yeah.
They don't discriminate
No,
between
absolutely.
anything.
That's right,
We are there for the needies.
That's
Whatever the needies,
right,
the
yeah.
World Medical will be there. And honestly, I blame myself too, and you guys. We don't have enough publicity.
Yeah.
We don't have enough PR to reach organization, to reach those student leagues, to reach many other, the doctor organization. You have to have that PR to reach them and communicate with them. And every organization, if they don't have that, we're doing a great job. We're sending about 30 containers every month or so, and nobody knows about us. So you should have those PR to reach those organizations.
I agree.
And even for donation, if the people doesn't know about you and what you're doing, how are they going to donate to you?
That's true.
So we need that. And at us at MEA, we are willing
Thank you.
and ready to do that.
Well, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. We need your help. We're pretty desperate when it comes to publicity. So any good publicity is good publicity. So, right, Doctor? I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
that's why we're going to push you real hard, and really appreciate it. Definitely, it will help us. Definitely, it will help us.
Dr. Samson, I know you have a lot of awards. I go to the World Medical Relief, and probably there is about 100 awards there from organization or from countries and all that. And tell me about that award and how you get it and why you get it.
Those, as a matter of fact, those awards were, those are the selected awards that from the beginning, when the organization was founded, that we have been collected.
Mhm.
There's even some awards which are minor, but what you saw in there, those are the incredible awards that the founder received and up to the present. Those are the awards, appreciation awards, the outstanding awards from different countries, and also for the founder when she was awarded one of the outstanding women in the state of Michigan. She was in the Hall of Fame
I
in
see.
the state of Michigan, and she received that award. And we also received an award from the White House during the time of President Reagan, and
I believe you just have an award of excellent. Can
Yes.
you want to talk about it?
yes, and the award, yes, and also we have the Charity Navigators 4-star rating.
Mm-hmm.
For the past, I will say, almost 7 years, we received 4-star rating that no one had ever received. No organization had ever received one like
Wow.
that. Out of the 635 nonprofits in the state of in the whole country, only 246 received 4-star rating under the charity navigators.
And the World Medical is
And
one of
in
them.
the state of Michigan, there are only 6 who
Only
received the
6.
4-star. And out of the 6, World Medical Relief
That's
is
great.
the only one that received almost for the 7 years straight.
We're very proud of that. Go ahead.
We
If
are
I
so
could
very
add,
proud.
and the reason being is the way we spend our money.
Yes.
It's other organizations, they pretty much it's top heavy. The administration. We have very little administration costs. It relies primarily on volunteers.
Yes.
Now you talk about the awards in the scrapbook.
Mhm.
If you look at the scrapbook, we talk about the Middle East, helping the Middle East.
Yes.
There's articles, there's appreciation awards given to the World Medical Relief. Back in the 60s, they were helping the Middle East and
Wow.
refugees and Palestinians and so forth. One day if you get a chance, Wally, just look at some of the plaques, and
I
it
did.
amazes me.
Yeah,
It's like
yes.
you sit there, wow,
Wow.
it's just there's amazing history and awards. As Dr. Samson, all the presidents, they've sent awards. Our great, founder lived to be 103, I think, was it?
103.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She did an amazing job. I mean,
Okay, Mike, if people want to reach you, how they reach you? Do you have a phone number? You have a website? You have... How they going to reach you? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people watching now. And honestly, I know the Middle Eastern community. They have heart. And they
Yeah.
care so much about the people that suffering, I mean, a lot in the Middle East, in many countries in the Middle East. And when you help them, they like to come and help you. They like to come and probably donate or volunteer. So how they can do that?
We could go to our website, worldmedicalrelief.org. They could also call us if they need help as well, or if they would like to participate in the volunteering.
And we're going to put the phone
Yes.
number. Can you tell me the phone number?
the
And we're
phone
going to
num-
put it in the bottom.
That's right. The phone
Yeah.
number, the office is 313-866-5333.
Okay.
And you can reach us on that number, and of course on our website.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, speaking of the Middle East, there was a son of the client that was in need of a motorized wheelchair from the Chaldean community.
Mm-hmm.
They picked it up this morning, and the good thing is all the connections, like for instance, if they would like to come to you, you can refer them to us.
Yes.
And I think they met Nidal Garmo, and then Nidal Garmo called us, and I said, send them here. And then the person got that motorized wheelchair this morning.
Great, great.
We can do that because we have a lot of wheelchairs for them, for local and international.
Yes, and they could call MEA TV, and
Yes.
and most people knows our number. They could call, and we could refer them to
Yes.
you, and I'm pretty sure that the commercial is going to go very soon with your number, with your website. Mike, go ahead.
It's an interesting point. Most people think of the community here in southeast Michigan, the
yeah.
Middle Eastern community. They think that we're all wealthy and everybody's wealthy. But there's some people, the senior citizens, that have challenges and they need their prescription. We have a great prescription program that we could offer to them. If they need supplies, we have a great supply. They just pay a minimal fee, I think a handling fee and a postage fee. We like to offer that. I mean, I
So
know,
that wheelchair, how much the need you have to pay, or is donation to them?
For the prescription, it's prescription. We charge an $8.30 regardless of the value of the medicine.
Mhm.
It could be the value of $200, $300, $500,
300
regardless.
pay only it.
Yeah.
Still.
And a lot of
And we-
those not covered by insurance,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
even
yeah.
by
That's
Medicare
right.
or
Yeah,
Medicaid.
yeah.
And they don't need to come there. We will
Yeah.
even mail this medication to their door.
as long as
Yeah.
they have a prescription from a
Yes.
doctor, we have to have a prescription. We have to follow the rules. That's very
Yes.
important.
You have to
The
get
prescription, they have to send it to the pharmacy.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I know we are in 8 Mile and Lasher, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Middle Eastern community because most of our viewers are from the Middle Eastern community. And in the area on the east side, like by Warren, Sterling High, Medicine High, Royal Oak, Troy, Rochester Hill, as Mike mentioned, yes, the idea we all rich, but no.
Yeah.
More than 70% They need your help.
Yeah.
How could is it possible we could open a pharmacy here, or we could open a satellite office for World Medical Relief, so they could reach him here, and our role as an MEA and our social media, we could reach this community, and we could tell them there is that facility here, and they could help you.
Yes. There's a saying from Norman Vincent Peale said, positive thoughts produce positive results.
Yes.
What I would like to do with that proposal, there's a big possibility that we can expand our local prescription program and the DME program outside our building in our headquarters in Southfield. There's a big possibility that we can establish a pharmacy or an office closer to the people
because
who live
especially
in this
the
area.
newcomer.
Yeah.
There is about
Yes.
20,000 refugees in Medicine High,
Yeah.
and between Warren and Medicine
Yes.
High. Those people, it's very hard for them to go
Yeah.
That's right.
to Detroit and to get it and all. And probably they don't have no vehicle or
That's right.
way to take them there.
Yes.
But if you are in the community, it'll be much easier for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
We will start the study immediately, and I know there's a possibility, and then you will be informed so that we can announce to our the people outside that who are in need of this help, and they could we come closer to them.
Wally, I would like to ask you
Sure.
to start the process, getting the study together, get
Absolutely.
the data. Because
I'm
again,
ready.
we really don't have the data. You have the data.
Yes.
We're going to depend on you to get out there. And,
I am part of the board. It's
yeah,
my
yeah.
duty.
Yeah, so definitely,
Sure.
that's our mission. We have a great mission, and I believe in the mission. Our founder, what was this phrase you always use? The founder, the sins of waste.
Something especially this is for the volunteers. When we get supplies, the volunteers come. They open up those boxes of supplies we receive every day, and when they open up, they sort supplies and they package supplies. That she said, the volunteers are turning the sin of waste into miracles of mercy.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're doing, and that's exactly what we are gonna do under this local program closer to the Middle Eastern community.
Great. We talk about everything, but I need 1 minute, a message to the community. In the Middle Eastern community, there's over 450,000 in the Tri-County area. And many of them, I could say about 70% of them, they need your help. What's your message to them?
My message is that we are all created equal, as I believe in, and we have to help each other. And I know that if there's some problems or issues, love conquers all. So meaning to say is that it doesn't matter if you came from Syria, Libya, or Egypt, or Philippines.
China or...
There's one thing in common: we have to help each other.
Yes.
And I think that is the beauty of the World Medical Relief Mission. Help us in order to help others.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mike, as a Middle Eastern community, member of the community, and you've been volunteer and you were working with many organizations even before the World Medical, and you've seen what's the World Medical Relief doing and sending all those containers to the Middle East. What's the message as one of member of the community when I tell the community how should they involve with the World Medical Relief?
Well, my experience, I guess, seeing the results, it saves lives. I mean, we have the same in Christianity, in Islam, in Judaism too.
Of course.
You save one life, you saved all mankind. You take one life, you destroyed all mankind. So, I mean, they saved a lot of lives. I've seen it firsthand. I've
Yes.
seen it. And again, they don't discriminate. They're out there helping, and we all believe in the mission of helping and trying to, whatever waste we have here, we turn it into something that could save a life. And that's what a greater thing you could do, save a life with waste. I mean, I don't know anything else that's more greater than that. I'm grateful to serve. I mean, I think 25 years. I mean, as long as God gives me health, I will continue serving as much as I can, and I am dedicated to the mission, of helping people.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Wally.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
what you're doing not just to the Middle Eastern community and the community at large, but to the whole world.
Thank you. Thank you, Wally. Thank you.
The reviewer, that was my interview with George Samson, the CEO and the president of the World Medical Relief, and Mike Baydun. He is for many years, he is the chairman of the board and involved very much with the World Medical Relief. Honestly, I sit in the board of World Medical Relief, and I know what they're doing to the local community, nationwide, and the world. They're doing a noble, noble cause, and they're helping people all over. And I know very well they're helping the people in the Middle East, the people that they need their help, and they are suffering, like in Yemen, in Iraq, in Syria, you know, and the World Medical Relief came to them and help them. So what I needed from you as a community here, to help them so they could help your people, your friend, your relative, you know, your neighbor that was in Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, or anywhere country in the Middle East. So you could donate to them. You could come as a volunteer. Doctor, I'm asking you to work with them, to donate whatever equipment you don't need, you know, to them, because donating to them, you're helping your people there in the Middle East. So please work with them, because their mission is to help the needy people, if it's on a local or nation or international. Thank you for watching, and good night.